bumps in on Stu. It's sort of this fine line, not wanting to take penalties, but needing to sort of play on the edge. How would you describe that gamesmanship so far?
Yeah, I mean, it's not the first time we've seen it in the playoffs. I know, when we were playing Dallas, they were those first couple of games, they were pretty heavy in front of our net, and I think our job as defensemen obviously is to let Stu see these pucks, and knowing how well of a job that they're going to do getting to the net front and how much compete and battle they have, we're going to have to raise our level to get to that level too.
Left side, front row.
Hey, Brett. We're not sure if Ryan Nugent-Hopkins will play tonight, but I just wanted to get your opinion on, how many boxes he checks off for your team and how important he is for your group.
Yeah, he's been a top player for us for a long time, and especially he's been amazing throughout the whole playoff run. So I don't know. I haven't talked to him, but it was nice to see him on the ice there this morning, and we hope to have him in the lineup.
Right side, third row.
Darnell coming into this series, Florida series, forecheck, was talked about a lot. They had some success in game 2. Can you kind of talk about, I guess, the challenges their forecheck present and what you guys have to do to kind of counter that in this game?
Yeah, no, their forecheck is obviously an identity of their team, and they're very good at doing it, putting pucks in the right spot and being on top of us as defensemen. I think all of us, I know me and Cooley have talked about it, like we can move pucks better and make better plays, and that'll alleviate some of the stress that we have had to endure, and especially in those second periods. So it's just going back there, making plays, having confidence. Obviously, the pucks are going to be dirty, and they're going to be on top of us. It's not something that we haven't seen over the course of the year at different points, and it's just going out there, having confidence, making plays, and we know we're very capable of doing it.
Far right side, standing.
How much of it, Brett, becomes about X and O's, maybe changing the tactics a little bit so you have some more time, and how much of it is just winning battles? Like they engage you guys in battles. How much of it becomes if you win a battle, you find yourself some more time?
Yeah, I think it's all that, all the battle part of it, and just the execution part of it. We know, even going back to last year, we know what kind of team they are. We know that's the strength of their team, and for us, we just feel we haven't been clean enough in our just execution and handling the puck and making the next play. So I think that's all it comes down to.
Left side, front row.
Darnell, do you think there needs to be a realization, like they were 12-5 before they got to the final. You guys are 12-4. These are the two best teams. You're not going to dominate 60 minutes of the game, and it's how you sort of ride through the emotion of maybe when they have a 7 or 8 minute window, or maybe a second period where they own the puck, and it's kind of how you handle those situations that might ultimately define who ends up winning the series.
Yeah, it's the Stanley Cup Finals. You're not going to walk through a Stanley Cup final. You're not going to walk through a team at this point of the year. It's a team we're playing against. This is their third final in a row, and they're here for a reason. And for us, we know that we are very capable of, when we're playing at the top of our game, of being the dominant team on the ice. But with that said, they're going to have their pushes, and it's the way that we're able to weather those and take the momentum and maybe grab the momentum a little bit earlier and swing it back in our way.
First time for me, obviously, this year. We're familiar with the setup and how things work, obviously, being here last year. So, makes it a little bit more convenient.
What would you say about the battle in the creases to this point? We've seen Bennett with a few bumps there on Skinner. How do you guys feel you've done getting to their guy? What's that battle been like?
Yeah, it's been a battle of both nets. Obviously, you don't like when guys are purposely falling into your goaltender. That's never good, and you hope that gets noticed. But I think both teams, and we're making it a point to go hard and go even harder as the series goes on to their net.
Might be handled different in a regular season, though. Fair to say, like it's not a situation where you can just go and somebody bumps your goalie.
Yeah, you can't go out and take a 5 or 2 5 and a 10 here, right? In the first period, so that wouldn't help anybody. But there's other ways to handle it, and staying aggressive, and like I said, going hard to their net as well.
Coaches would say that they're a little confused when they're trying to make a goalie interference challenge. They're not always sure. As a player on the ice, are you always sure what's allowed around goalies anymore?
No. I learned that lesson probably once they started kind of cracking down on that rule a long time ago. So, I think we've seen a lot of calls go different ways, and it's hard to kind of determine. You like to think there's some obvious ones, but every now and again you get surprised sometimes.
What's been the key to success on the road for you guys this year?
Well, I think we play the same way for the most part. I think we're not deterred by hostile environments or tough places to play. I think we want to take the game to the other team, and that hasn't really changed in the playoffs. And we also know in order to win in the playoffs, you have to be able to win on the road, and that's really important. And we've done a good job of that thus far. And we've put ourselves in a position where we're going to have to do that now.
You guys don't seem to thrive in hostile environments, like particularly, like the hostile in LA and Vegas and Dallas. Is it just it brings out energy? Like even if it's negative towards you guys, does that still give you energy?
Yeah, I think I'm sure they were probably saying the same thing. I think they were probably in Edmonton. The whole city's against them, and they want to come out and ruin your night. And we're looking to ruin Florida's night tonight.
If Nuge can't go today, I guess how does that change the dynamic?
I have no idea. I'm not going to give you anything there.
Evander, just a question about Ivan Bouchard. Where do you see the biggest growth in his game in the last this season, especially maybe when you were on the outside looking in and watching him play?
Yeah, I think Bouch is a guy that his intensity, his defensive detail has gotten better and more consistent, and throughout the rest of the playoffs, he's elevated that, and he gets a lot of opportunity. He plays in a lot of big situations, and we're going to need him to continue to be a good player for us.
First couple games, is that something you guys can make adjustments on?
They're good face-off guys. It's a battle in there. I think it's back and forth. I think as you go through a series, you learn tendencies of guys and kind of what to expect in each face-off, and also getting on the being on the same page with the linesmen and their tendencies and that sort of thing goes into it as well.
Adam, sorry if you've been asked this already, but having played here at this rink in the Stanley Cup final a year ago, does that help you guys in any way?
We're just focused on the game, just whatever we got to do tonight. We're familiar with the surroundings and being here, and we know what we'll have to do to get a win.
It's been such a close series. The start of last game was pretty wild. Can you kind of just talk about the importance of being checked in right from the get-go, every shift being ready to go? Basically?
Yeah, you got to be ready from the drop of the puck. Every shift is so important. It can be, this time of year it's a fine line of winning and losing. So, every shift matters, every play matters. Everything. You got to leave it all out there every single shift, really.
Adam, what was your primary takeaway from Game 2, and what adjustments do you feel like your team needs to make?
I just keep playing. It's a tight checking game. You obviously want to get out there and try to grab the lead and play with the lead. But I thought we did a good job battling back at times. Then getting the lead and going. And the game is back and forth. So again, just being ready from the drop of the puck and being ready for whatever's coming.
As an athlete, you're just looking to be in control at all times and dictating the pace. Do you just have to kind of accept the fact that that's a really good team and they're going to have dominant stretches there? Is that just a natural part of this game?
Yeah, it's one of those heavyweight tilts. It's you land a punch, you take a punch, it's back and forth. It's all that in one. So I think I'm sure everybody's excited watching, and it's a lot of fun being out there playing too.
There was a long stretch in the second period where they held sway over you guys, held in your zone, they pinned you for a long time. Is that a matter to fix that? Is that a tactical thing, or is it we got to just dig in and win battles more?
It's a little bit of both. At times, you got to win a couple battles to try and end that, or the tactics that go into it. You want to be able to roll all four lines, change guys, when you can before you get tired, those sorts of things. So, it's a little bit of both, I would say.
Adam, when Panthers go on the road, they always say our game travels well. Do you guys feel like your game travels pretty well, and has it shown up here, maybe minus games 1 and 2 in LA?
Yeah, I think so. We've been used to starting on the road too, so it was almost different starting at home in the finals. But we're confident in our group, no matter where we are, and confident in our game that it travels wherever it needs to go.
The fact that this lineup's had so many different looks throughout the year by necessity, injuries, trades, guys, waiting to fit in. Does it help if Brian can't go tonight? Does it help that everyone's almost played with everyone throughout the year?
Yeah, it's just whoever's out there, we're confident in everybody, and it's just, nothing changes. It's just next man up, and you go out there and play wherever you need to play. We've gone through a lot of in-game adjustments as well, where guys move up, guys move down, guys move from the middle to the wing to the middle, all those sorts of things. So, and it just continues to go. And we've gone through that lots this year, and nothing will change there.
Sorry if you were asked this, but what would you say about the battle in the crease? Like Bennett's got a couple bumps on your goalie. I know you guys. How do you think you're doing it, getting into their space a little bit? It's a bit of a game within the game. You got to be careful with.
Yeah, it's. I guess it's just that gray area. Not sure what is intentional without, showing it's intentional, those sorts of things. I'm sure, I guess the league watches those sorts of things. And obviously the refs, I'm sure, are aware of all that. So, it's, you want to go to that area, and I guess whatever happens there.
Does it feel different playing this version of the Panthers compared to last year?
I mean, everything's on the line. It doesn't feel, we feel different, more confident, I guess, but it's we know it's a heavyweight fight, and it's going to be back and forth, and it's going to be a battle, but certainly a lot of fun.
You skated pretty hard too.
Yeah, if I'm not in, there's nothing to worry about, so just prepare like I'm in, and then we'll see. Hopefully Nuggy's good to go, and yeah, that's it.
What do you think of the hockey that you'd be walking into? What have you seen? Just the intensity, physicality, that sort of thing. It's been pretty tight.
Yeah, it's intense. It's the best two teams left in the league, so that's what you'd expect. I think it's been two really good games, and yeah, I think there'll be another really good game tonight. So yeah, really good hockey, and hopefully we can get off to a good start.
It's been mentally taxing, just being ready to go, and not sure when you're gonna get the green light.
I don't know. I mean, these guys are playing in the game, so it's not like I'm working any harder than them. So it's just part of being a team. I think you got to have guys that are ready to step in when there's an opportunity. And again, I'm not the only guy out there practicing. I think you've seen Stetcher, Enby, Jonesy, DR, like everyone's out there working on keeping each other ready, keeping each other fresh, and keeping each other positive. I think it's kind of just part of being on the team.
Nugent Hopkins, is he expected to play tonight?
Ryan will be a game time decision. He'll take warm up, and we'll decide from there.
Go stay in that same row.
Hey, Chris. If Ryan can't go, I just want to ask about Jeff Skinner. If he has to be ready, he said he was ready to go. How happy have you been with him and his preparedness when situations like this come up?
He's been a true professional, and when we've needed him, he's been ready to play. And he came and stepped in, played a really good game in Dallas, scored a goal, in fact, played well, and he's been prepared through it all. And it can be a long time off, between games, not playing, and he's worked hard in all his skates, and knowing that there's going to be injuries or there's going to be a lineup change or something, and he's been prepared. And if he is playing tonight, I have confidence that he'll give us a good game.
Right side, front row.
Chris, just wonder about the dialogue with the league as far as contact on goaltenders, play in the crease, that sort of thing. If there's talk going on behind the scenes to sort through that, how fine a line it is, and how do you want your players to handle that? Because I'm sure the instinct is to get rough and protect the goalie, but you don't want to take penalties.
Yeah, no, it's a fine line, and you just trust that the referees will call it and enforce it properly, and it's a very difficult thing to handle because, just what's contact, what propels a player into the crease, or what, obviously our defensemen are trying to do their best to keep the Florida players from getting to the net front. And, player can always spin or take the other route or go through the crease. And you look at, certain plays where, I took physics in high school, but that was a long time ago. And, and there's an action from one side and counteraction, but if you're pushing to the left and he falls right and or backwards or whatever it is, it's you can't do that much as a defenseman to control exactly where he goes. So just hopefully the referees see that and call it accordingly.
Left side, third row.
Chris, when you load up McDavid and Draisaitl like you have in Game 1 and Game 2 late in both those games, the versatility of Ryan Nugent-Hopkins to slide down and center your second line, if he can't go tonight, what is that? How more challenging is it for you if you load up again in this game at some point and your comfort level with what the rest of the lineup looks like?
Well, first of all, we have to determine where Ryan is in our lineup and if he's playing. We don't have as much versatility if we are missing a centerman. I think centermen are so important just to move around, and we don't have a lot of centermen on our roster. Typically, you've got a lot of centermen who are playing wing. In fact, we've got wingers that we've transformed into centermen in Janmark. It does change our what we can do, but we'll address it throughout the game.
Right side, third row.
Chris, it's obviously been a very tight series. One mistake can cost you a game. I'm wondering, in your messaging to your players, how do you balance keeping things simple, playing smart, but yet playing aggressive and looking to make plays as well? How do you balance that?
Yeah, if you play too safe, you end up having to defend. If you're always worried about turning over the puck and all you do is get it over the line and you're not making a pass, you're always making a safe play. Well, what happens is you end up giving the puck to the other team and then you have to defend. It's not like they're going to give it right back to you. So, it's up to the players to recognize, when they have a play and when they don't. And you hope that they can make those the right judgment and the right play. But to say to the guys, don't turn the puck over, don't make a mistake, that's just a recipe for disaster. You still have to play on instincts. You still have to play to your strengths. And we believe our strengths is passing the puck around and sharing it and making high percentage plays. And sometimes there are mistakes, and that's part of the game. There's never going to be a perfect game. I think it's important for our players to play off their instincts.
Right side, front row.
Your team's record under your coaching staff in the back half of series last year is really good. It tells us you guys make good adjustments. With the way Florida's giving you trouble in your own zone, does that become a coaching X and O adjustment thing, or does it become a player winning more battles thing, better execution? What's the key to turning that part of it around?
I think it's collectively. That's on the coaches. It's on the players. It's, I think you look back and, there were times when we didn't break the puck out. But, analytically, we actually had more breakout success than Florida did. So it says that our forecheck was actually better. Now, analytics are sometimes skewed and sometimes they're not correct or whatever it is. But we're not going to break the puck out every time they dump the puck in. And hopefully Florida, when we're able to get some stops on our forecheck too. So hopefully that we can change some things that maybe we have success, maybe 3 or 4 more times on our breakout and 3 or 4 more times that we can get a few more stops on our forechecks. But overall, I think collectively from the coaches and the players, there are things that we can do that increase our percentage just a little bit, not completely, but maybe just a couple more success rates throughout the game.